Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Banks on behalf of the Not for Debate podcast. Just checking in with a really quick video, just some quick things that I kind of wanted to share with everybody. Don't forget to hit us up on our YouTube channel. Also, follow us on Facebook at the Not for Debate podcast, as well on YouTube at the Not for Debate podcast. And we're also available on Spotify, Apple Music, and all major platforms that are streaming as well. Do not miss your opportunity to get these updates because I'm telling you, this year we are coming at everybody as much as we possibly can. So expect to see some much more content being uploaded on an everyday basis. The point of today's conversation is just to kind of talk about a segment that I've been working on in my mind, and I'm finally feeling confident enough to bring it to the media to kind of discuss some key points about the upcoming NFL season. There's a few things, a few areas that are still kind of concerning for me that I kind of want to touch base with everybody on. And again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all major platforms as well as all streaming services. You don't want to miss out on that. But today's topic is not going to be a very long one. I just want to kind of talk about a few things that have caught my eye regarding the upcoming NFL season. Okay. I'm going to call this segment the Banks Radar. Basically, every week I'm going to try to give you guys some topics to think about, just some things, some areas that we should be discussing more of, and we're not. But because y'all know I like to be controversial. Some people call it toxic, but whatever, I don't care. Um, so let's go ahead and touch base on the very first topic that I have on my mind. Packers fans, Aaron Rodgers fans, this is dedicated to you. This segment is dedicated to you. One of the areas of opportunity and areas of focus for me this season is the Aaron Rodgers situation and the Green Bay Packers, primarily with the receiving core. I know recently we had Aaron Rodgers come out make some statements about his receiving core, not really satisfied with their performance. He called some of his receivers out, not by name. I mean, fortunately, he didn't call anybody out by name, but how I feel, as much as he said, you might as well just put a name on it. But anyway, um, he basically made some comments saying that if guys aren't going to be catching balls and not pretty much not producing, not doing what they're brought in to do, then they're not going to be a part of this team. Okay. Let me first clarify because I went to social media about this and I got some good feedback about it and I got some bad feedback about it. And I think most of the people that thought the bad feedback, they were thinking that I was just criticizing Aaron Rodgers. Let me go ahead and first and say this. First and foremost, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play football. Okay. I would be a fool to say Aaron Rodgers is not one of the best quarterbacks to play football. How I feel about Aaron Rodgers is the exact way I feel about, I hate to bring his name up, LeBron James. He's also one of the best basketball players to ever play basketball. But when you go to having these GOAT conversations, to me, that's where the line is drawn because I don't think that they've earned the right to be considered the greatest of all time at their positions. And I have valid reasons, which a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it. Again, at the end of the day, I don't care. It's my opinion. I have valid reasons to support my case. Me supporting my case isn't saying that they're not good players. Aaron Rodgers is still the top. He's still the best quarterback of this generation by far in terms of playing wise. He's one of the best quarterbacks of this era. But the GOAT, in my opinion, is Tom Brady. I mean, when you think about all his career success, considering he was a six-round draft pick, shouldn't even be in the NFL, didn't have the talent, the athleticism, nothing, and he's turned that into what we currently have his image as the greatest quarterback ever. How could you not agree with Tom Brady being the best ever? But that's a whole other topic. That's not what this conversation is about. This conversation again is about Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers and their receiving corps. If you know and have followed Aaron Rodgers for the entirety of his career, one thing that Aaron Rodgers has always had the luxury of, compared to a lot of other quarterbacks who have not, again, throwing Tom Brady's name out there, is Tom Brady hasn't always had the best receiving corps around him to help him excel his game. Whereas if you think about what Aaron Rodgers has had in his playing career, he's had some pretty decent weapons around him at all times. That's not to knock Aaron Rodgers for the general manager doing what he's supposed to do. But again, it favors Aaron Rodgers to have those weapons. When you think about guys like James Jones, who's a former third round pick in the draft, I forgot exactly what year he got drafted, but he's a third round pick. You also think about guys like Jordy Nelson, which is a lot of people don't want to bring that up, but Jordy Nelson was a very good receiver. He was considered one of the best receivers in the NFL at some point in time. He was in that top five at one point in time. Yes, Aaron Rodgers contributed to that, but again, Eric Decker was not Eric Decker. Jordy Nelson was drafted in the second round in his draft class. He could have been a first round talent. That's how talented Jordy Nelson was coming out of college. People don't think about that. Jordy Nelson is just not just an average receiver. He actually had game. So did James Jones. James Jones had some pretty good film back in college as well, and it translated over well for him in the NFL. He's also had guys like Randall Cobb. I mean, Randall Cobb was another decent receiver in college. He ended up being better than he was predicted in the NFL, thanks to large part of Aaron Rodgers. But the reason, again, that I'm saying all this is we finally get to see Aaron Rodgers be what I think is going to be a normal year for him. Do I expect him to have MVP caliber type numbers? I mean, maybe. Not gonna lie to you, he may have those numbers considering how talented he is. But now we're really going to get to really see what his talent is. Is it he's just a really talented quarterback, or he's just a byproduct of having good receivers around him at all times? So that is one of the first areas that I'm actually putting a lot of focus on this year. I know Aaron Rodgers, again, he's come out, he's criticized his receivers. Good thing about him is after the criticism, the very next game in the preseason, the receivers showed up. The last preseason game the Green Bay Packers played, well, not considering last night, but the game before last night, the Green Bay Packers receivers showed up and they played a great game. They were catching every ball in sight. They got a lot of weapons. They drafted two receivers in this year's draft that are going to have some opportunities to come in and make an immediate impact and be able to add to their legacy and start their legacy and help Aaron Rodgers build his legacy. Okay. So that's the first area that I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to is Aaron Rodgers and the receiving core. Is Aaron Rodgers the great all-time quarterback, or was this just he just had good receivers around him at all time? We're going to see. The second topic that I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to. If you guys notice there, it says Tua time. Listen, Dolphins fans. All right. Some of you are going to watch this video. Some of you see my posts on social media all the time, and you think that I'm being I'm being very critical of Tua and his play. Yes, I am being very critical of Tua because when Tua came into the league, before he came into the league, when he was first brought in to the University of Alabama, he was brought in to be like this savior. Like, oh my God, just here's this pure left-handed quarterback that can make all these throws. He has athleticism to him. He can get away. He can scramble. He can throw outside the pocket. And he's just going to make this Alabama team even more unstoppable. And then Tua came in the national championship game after Jalen Hurts struggled a little bit. Tua came in, threw the game with a touchdown to Devontae Smith, and the rest is history, right? The Alabama Crimson Tide won the championship, and Tua's legacy was made after that. In my opinion, Tua had no opportunity to dip. It was always going to go up from there because he was the reason why Alabama won the championship that year. So I don't think Tua got his fair share of criticism as he should have gotten in college. And now that he goes over to the NFL, and again, he was drafted in a very hot spot. Typically, when you're in that top five-ish area of being drafted, those teams aren't the best teams in the NFL. As a matter of fact, the Dolphins weren't a good team at all when they drafted him, and they brought Tua in. They were not a good team at all, and they were definitely in dire need of a quarterback. I felt that the Dolphins should have went after Justin Herbert, who at this point in his career is no question. Justin Herbert is the best quarterback out of that draft class. Well, out of the Tua comparison. There's no way that anybody, even a Dolphins fan, I don't care. If you have a logical mind, there's no way right now at this point of their career you're taking Tua over Justin Herbert. You're just not. And if you are, you're delusional. You just want Tua to succeed, which again, that's okay. I'm okay with Tua succeeding, but you also gotta be aware to what's going on around you. Now, Dolphins fans, of course, and Tua fans are going to come up with all these different type of reasons and excuses as to why Tua hasn't excelled. You got the issues with the offensive line. You got the issues with the offensive coordinator. You got the situation with Brian Flores not putting Tua in the best spots to be a good quarterback, which I think is still utter BS. But we can't harp on that anymore because they're long gone from Brian Flores. But looking at what I saw out of Tua in the preseason so far, and again, this is just a pre-analysis. It's nothing set in stone yet. But watching Tua in the preseason, he did look good throwing the ball. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, he looked a lot more confident. As I was saying, a couple of my friends that's on Facebook and other social media platforms, seeing Tua throw the ball and sling it everywhere, he was throwing with a little bit more zip. His lead foot had looked like it had a lot more power in his delivery, pinpointing the ball. But there were still some areas of opportunity where I saw Tua still holding on to the ball a little bit longer than what he needed to hold on to. And again, I don't know if that's due to him not fully being confident in what's his offensive line that's in front of him. That's a big problem, an area of concern for the Miami Dolphins. Even though they did address the offensive line this past offseason and getting better there, you can tell that Tua still, to me, he still didn't look as confident. It's still a lot of 3, 5 step drops, get rid of the ball quickly, get the ball in your playmaker's hand, let them make plays. I don't foresee Tua, even though a lot of the reports all season in training camp, a lot of Dolphins fans have been reporting Tua throwing the ball all over the field in practice and throwing the ball deep. Listen, that was for show. That was to get people to continue to come out, spend money early, show some support, get everybody hyped up to come in and spend all their money on the season this year to not get that because I don't think teams are going to allow the Miami Dolphins to get Tyreek involved in the game like the Dolphins fans are expecting Tyreek to get into the game. I think the Dolphins have a game plan simply to start with the run first, and then the run is going to help Tua make better decisions, and then that's going to open up that deep ball for Tyreek or Jalen Waddle, whoever the case may be. They're going to have. Good thing is there's also some reports coming out of Dolphins camp that Gesicki was being traded, which I think was a stupid idea if they're trying to get rid of Gesicki. I don't know what it is in the Miami Dolphins fan base and Mike Gesicki. I'm just not understanding it. I kind of want the Dolphins to trade Gesicki now because I don't feel like they're appreciating him because he is a very, very talented player. Especially when he was playing at Penn State, he was a dog. Like I don't get why Miami fans would want to see Gesicki move on. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. But I think that the Dolphins are going to be able to effectively, if they're able to effectively run the ball and have good field position, keep it the down and distance short, so where Tua is not forced to make passes that he's not able to make, throwing into coverage and stuff like that. I think the Dolphins are going to be great. I think they're going to do. I'm predicting the Miami Dolphins even go to the playoffs this year. Me personally, but again, this is the Dolphins' season success for this year is ultimately going to come down to how much did Tua improve this all season. That's what's going to determine the Miami Dolphins' success, and that's exactly what I got my eyes on under the Banks radar. Again, that's Tua as well as Aaron Rodgers. Now, the so the NFL is a 3-year career, and the situation with O-line is not excuse, it's facts. The line wasn't as bad as the story. I agree, Jonathan. I agree with you 100%. Some of those decisions to throwing the ball for Tua, it wasn't just always the offensive line. It just wasn't. I mean, Dolphins fans and Tua fans are going to always point it to there and saying, "Oh well, Tua just he didn't have time." And da, 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 da. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that do not have time to throw the ball. I.e., example, Joe Burrow. Okay, Joe Burrow was sacked over 50 times this past season. Over 50 times. So how much time do you think he actually had to throw the ball? Based on the numbers and what the numbers are telling you, none. But the Cincinnati Bengals were still able to patchwork their offensive line or strategically game plan around what Joe Burrow's strengths and weaknesses are, and that offensive line strengths and weaknesses, and formulate a game plan, a very effective game plan, by the way, that basically said we're just going to keep everything short and sweet. And if they give us something deep, we're going to take it. But for the most part, the Cincinnati Bengals were keeping everything within that medium range where they were just looking to get the balls into the hands of Tyler Boyd, Uzoma. Joe Mixon was able to run the ball. That helped out a lot. And then last but not least, I mean, you got T. Higgins and you got, goddamn, Jamar Chase. I mean, come on. So they were getting, Joe Burrow did a great job of, even when he was in pressure, his lock was finding, getting the ball to my playmaker. Let me get the ball to Jamar Chase and the rest of these guys, and I'm going to let those guys go out there and make the plays for me. That's what Tua is going to have to do. That is what's going to help the Miami Dolphins be successful, is running the ball and getting the ball to your playmakers' hands. Okay, but I'm going to move on for that. But thank you very much for your comment, Jonathan. The last topic, Trayvon Diggs. Now, again, if you follow my social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you'll see that I am a big time critic of Trayvon Diggs. Okay. Let me say this, because again, I don't want people to get, I just feel like people just take things and they run with it and just overanalyze things, right? By no means am I saying I don't like the kid, Trayvon Diggs. I like him. You know, I'm not a hater in any sort of form of fashion. I just call things how I see it. Based on what I see from Trayvon Diggs, I do not see an elite corner. I just don't see it. I see a guy that anticipates very, very well, probably the best anticipation skills in the NFL, to be honest with you. His ball skills and awareness on how to attack the ball is unmatched. It's like you can't coach that. You can't coach his anticipation skills. Like, you just either have it or you don't. Which explains why he's able to attack the ball the way he attacks it, because he's anticipating what routes receivers are running. And again, if you do not know about Trayvon Diggs' background, Trayvon Diggs was a receiver prior to being transitioning over to the cornerback position. From what I've found out, Trayvon Diggs has only been playing the cornerback position for what, between 3 to 4 years now? But he's been a receiver up his whole life up until the most 3 to 4 years recently. So I can understand him still getting to understanding how the cornerback position is being played. To be very honest with you, it's actually very honorable when you think about his willingness to grow in the position and how much success he's had in the position so far without ever having some real deal playing time as a cornerback in the NFL. But you got to call a spade, okay? If you cannot cover the best receivers in the league, you're almost as worthless out there in the field. You're just worthless. In my opinion, you have to be able to. I have to be able to. If I was a defensive coordinator, right? I have to be to know at some point the guy that I'm putting out there. There may be a chance that you may not get an interception, or you may not create a turnover through the entire game. So my question for Dallas Cowboy fans and Trayvon Diggs fans is: are you not paying attention to what's going on when he's not creating turnovers? That's the area of concern for me. When he's not creating turnovers, he's getting annihilated. He's getting destroyed. He's given up last season he gave up the fifth most catches and the fifth most catches in the NFL, and he gave up the most yards for any cornerback all season. A little over 1,000+ yards he gave up to receivers all season long. That means he was a weekly target. Teams were game planning against him. And that's where I draw the line between Trayvon Diggs and Jalen Ramsey, for instance. I draw my line there when it comes to Jalen Ramsey and everyone else because, yeah, Jalen Ramsey may not bring in the high interception numbers where he's giving you 5 or 6 interceptions out a year. That's just never been his game. Even when he was back in college playing at Florida State, he never had a bunch of interceptions this year. I think the most interceptions Jalen Ramsey has had in his career in one season has been like, what, 3 or 4? He doesn't get a lot of interceptions because people don't throw his to his way. I would rather have a cornerback that I know I'm going to be able to put out there on the island, and he's going to eliminate the target completely. I don't have to worry about that person being dealt with at all. The quarterback is not going to look at Jalen Ramsey's way. I don't care what anyone says. Now, me being me, I got to be fair. I don't know what happened to Jalen Ramsey towards the end of the season, mostly in the playoffs, and especially in the Super Bowl. For whatever reason, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals were not afraid of Jalen Ramsey. Okay, they were attacking Jalen Ramsey religiously, and had it not been for Aaron Donald getting in and causing that pressure, Aaron Donald and Von Miller, by the way, we might have not have won the Super Bowl because on that very final play, if you go back and watch the replay, Jalen Ramsey got beat again by Jamar Chase. He was wide open for a touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. So Jalen may be dipping in his stance as the best corner in the league. His performance started to dip a little bit. So I mean, him being the best corner in the NFL, his time looks like his time is ticking. And this is the opportunity for guys like Trayvon Diggs to really take in and learn as much as you can from guys like Jalen Ramsey and whatever any other young quarterback that's trying to make an impact in the NFL. You want to try to sponge as much as you can because Jalen, at some point in the career, I see Jalen Ramsey getting moved from cornerback to safety. I'm also hearing reports from different outlets that Jalen Ramsey is actually getting ready to play a lot more safety for the Rams this year. I don't know how true that is. I haven't checked my sources, but that's what's being said. It's being said that Jalen Ramsey is preparing to transition over from the cornerback to the free safety spot, which I don't care where you put Jalen Ramsey at. He's going to make an impact wherever he goes. Okay. So again, this wasn't supposed to be a super long video. Again, those are just some of the things that are on my radar in terms of what's coming in through this season. Things I'm going to just be keeping my eye on. Again, I plan to keep this segment going every week. So in a couple of days, maybe next week at some point, I have some more things on my radar that I'll be paying a lot more attention to. Again, Aaron Rodgers in the receiving court for the Green Bay Packers. That's radar number one. Tua time and the Miami Dolphins. The effectiveness of Tua this season. How good can Tua keep? How good can Tua be this year? Can he not turn the ball over? Can he not give the ball? Can he just keep the game manageable so the Miami Dolphins are given the opportunity to compete and win games? Number three, Trayvon Diggs. Are we going to see him step up in his coverage ability, not his ability to take the ball away? We're not talking about turnovers. It's not about the turnovers right now. We're talking about his ability to get in front of the receiver and have the confidence to say, you know what, I am going to dominate this matchup today. Whether I get an interception or a turnover or not, I'm going to win my matchup today. Those are just some of the things that I've been paying attention to, that I'm going to be paying attention to for the most part of the season. If you guys want to leave me with some topics that you want to see me discuss further, please feel free to leave a comment behind the video. I'll bring it up in the very next segment that we have like this. This has been your boy. Thanks for the Not for the Bay podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm up out of here. Have a great weekend.